It's 11 a.m. I'm in front of dozens of students in Tel Aviv University, and I'm in my element. The crowd is engaged, people are asking questions, some even taking notes. I've been talking for the past 90 minutes about everything I know. Management lessons, creativity, strategy. All these people have come to hear a general manager from Procter & Gamble sharing wisdom from 20 years of international experience. And frankly, I could be doing this for another 90. But I'm late for Leah, my daughter's 4th grade class. Yesterday, they asked parents to fill in for an absent teacher, and I volunteered. So I closed the talk, rush into the classroom, stand in front of the kids. In the corner, I can see Leah glowing with pride, and I flop completely. I discover I have nothing special to say to these little ones. And as it turns out, the dad right before me used to be a magician. Worst of all, I end up teaching them math. They hate it, my daughter hates it. On the way home, the car is obviously very quiet. Leah is probably wishing she discovers one day she's adopted. I'm haunted by a different thought. I volunteered because I've always felt schools don't teach kids the skills they would need in the year 2040. Schools teach kids how to read, how to write, math, and English. But they don't teach them creative thinking, problem solving, dreaming big. But today, in front of that classroom, all my adult superpowers were worth nothing in the kids' world. How come all the currency I have at work is worth nothing the minute I step home at night? I've always been a freak of management books, biographies of famous people, and creativity, even winning once the Grand Prix of Advertising in Cannes. But during my first 20 years as a kid, my heroes were completely different. I was consumed by Disney, Star Wars, and Pixar characters. So why not connect the two, my childhood heroes and my adult ones, and create the world's first management book for kids? But can we really teach 9-year-olds management skills? The first problem I encountered was that adult concepts like looking at the big picture, thinking out of the box, anticipating 2 steps ahead were too tangible for Leah. So I decided to take all those abstract things and turn them into characters. 2 steps ahead became a pink dog with its front head exactly 2 steps into the future. Out of the box is a doll that understands the world is completely different the minute she steps out of the original store box. But I also wanted Leah to take inspiration from history's greats. Greats that have one thing in common. They can all teach her to think different. So Galileo became a bat. He obviously thinks the opposite of everybody else. Leonardo the lion, every color of his mane representing a different field of expertise. Steve is an apple, and Albert is a caterpillar. We'll get back to him later. But this management book could not feel like school. Especially with kids, they smell homework from miles away. It had to become a fantasy story with good guys and bad guys. The kingdom of Eureka, the place where the things kids love most, were invented. 20 years ago, when I started my career, we would run annual performance reviews. Each of us had to write 3 things we're good at and 3 improvement areas. I hated those. No matter how well the review went, I always left the room with 3 bad things to think about. And obviously, with 0 motivation to improve the day after. We have evolved since, and our role as managers is to identify the 1 or 2 skills our people are good at and create an environment that pushes them to become great, and not spend time on their flaws. We have evolved since, and our role as managers is to identify the 1 or 2 skills our people are good at and create an environment that pushes them to become great, instead of spending and wasting their time on their flaws. Remember Albert? Surprisingly, he has the same problem. Albert is a caterpillar, but he's not your ordinary caterpillar. He's a patent clerk. Yes, actually the best in the whole wide world. Albert is so good at his job that he can attend to 4 people at once. Einstein, too, in real life, spent 7 very long years in the Swiss patent office. You know, kids, Albert gazed with his big black eyes. Sometimes I think I could come up with an important invention myself, and not just write other people's ideas. Maybe one day I'll even become someone important. Leah nodded. I love science class because I get to experiment with different things. There, I feel like a champ. But I don't get very good grades in other subjects. The truth is, Albert whispered as if revealing a secret, is that every child is a genius. But if a fish is tested in school by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. Because fish are geniuses at swimming. Leah smiled. Exactly, Albert continued. All your life, keep asking yourselves 2 questions. The first, what do I do best? The second, what do I most love doing? The day the answer to those 2 questions is exactly the same is the day you have found your genius. Let's remember that the next time our kids bring home a report card. Children are always intrigued by puzzles and riddles. Can we use them to teach skills like creativity? Let's try one. It's going to be fun. Which animal is the odd one out? Dolphin, right? Excellent. It's red. Let's move on. TED is a short format. But wait, maybe we should all think like an octopus. Did you know that octopuses have 9 brains? In fact, each hand has a brain of its own. So when mom octopus asks baby octopus, what does she want to do? She doesn't have only one answer. She has at least 8. On one hand, she wants to play soccer. On the other hand, eat pizza. On the third hand, read a book. And this is what creativity means. Thinking like an octopus. Providing as many correct answers to the same problem. I've asked this riddle in over 200 classes, and the Israeli record for 3rd graders stands at 54 correct answers. What's mind-opening is that the kids that usually participate in class, in this case, give the most ordinary and less creative answers. The fish is upside down, the rabbit is a land animal. It's usually when the class is stuck at 8 answers, magic happens. A shy girl that never participates in class raises her hand and whispers the fish because it only has 4 letters. She just transported the collective creativity of the class to a whole new dimension, how these animals are spelled. And her friends, now out of their boxes, follow quickly up with 10 more spelling answers. Then when the class is stuck again, a kid will be the first one to notice the shells in the back. They were there the whole time, and the fish is the only one not stepping out of bounds. My favorite answer of all time, the dolphin, because it's the only pet my parents will never allow me to have. The mere fact I tell the class up front that the record is 54 correct answers will usually lead them to double the number of answers they end up with. Throughout history, knowledge, profession, and craft was passed from father to son, from mother to daughter. But in the year 2040, we have no idea what jobs our kids will have. Most likely, they'll be switching between 2 to 3 careers when they grow up. So how do we as parents prepare them for this unexpected future? Teach them skills. Or in very simple words, just start telling them today all about your adult stuff. Try tonight when you get back home. Pick one word of wisdom you told a colleague at work and translate it into their world. Next time you go to the movies, try to inspire them. Tell them that Disney was once a real person named Walt. That's before he became an amusement park. They will be amazed. And while the entire world saw a mouse, screamed, and jumped on a chair, Walt saw Mickey Mouse. Trust me, they will listen. Even Leah, who since then invited her old man 3 more times to class. Thank you.